What is up, boys, girls, and gender fluid fishkin? Hope you still got your carpet squares handy, because it's time for another story time with Whelan. Yeah, I don't live a very interesting life, but occasionally something kind of interesting happens, and then I can talk about it. Anyhow, a little disclaimer, despite what you might have gathered from the thumbnail or the title, there is almost no video of either of these events happening, which is why this is story time, and not you looking at this happening right now. Anyway, I'll shut up and start talking. So I've been through a handful of GoPros in my time. My first one just bricked itself because it overheated or something. I don't know. But then I got a Hero 3 Plus Black, and that could do 240 frames per second in 640p or 120 frames in 720. So naturally I wanted to play around with high frame rates and slowing things down to like 10% of real time. That's pretty cool, right? So of course I take it out to the gun range. So I mess around with some stuff like watching the action of my AR-15 cycle, watch a shotgun shell flip out in slow motion, ejected from the chamber. And I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I'm like, well, I still got a few more targets left. I'm gonna put the GoPro right next to this target and shoot it with my shotgun. Had a gallon jug full of colored water, and I put my GoPro on a tripod right next to it. The idea being, recording in 240 frames per second, you can slow down that impact and it'll look really cool, right? So I get that all set up, GoPro's recording, walk back to the firing line, load up a shell. And this is a slug, mind you. This is not buckshot or birdshot or anything like that. I'm not completely stupid. What is going on here? Why is there so much traffic doing nothing? Come on, my sights, pull the trigger, bang! You know, the noise shotguns make. Target explodes in this spray of red water, and then my tripod falls over and I hear something skittering across the gravel. That's weird. So I clear my shotgun, run down range. Obviously the jug of water's gone. It got hit by a 1-ounce slug. But if it got hit with a slug, then why did my camera fall over and go flying across the ground? So I find the front of the GoPro housing is just shattered. I mean, and that's some pretty impact resistant plastic. It's caved in. The back door has been blown off, the hinge ripped out of the front of the housing, and the camera is laying another 20-30 feet beyond that. And then this was a 3, so the battery popped out of the back. So there's an ice cube's chance in hell that this thing was still recording, obviously. The battery's not in it. So I pick all my stuff up. I kind of got a process that I just shot my $350 camera. But then I'm still thinking, I didn't shoot my camera. What the hell happened? Well, for those of you who are less firearms literate, a shotgun shell has a few different parts in it. Obviously, it's got the hull with the metal base that has the primer in it. That's what the firing pin hits, sets off the gunpowder. And then on top of the gunpowder is wadding. It's usually a plastic plug for simplicity. And then in front of that goes a projectile, in this case a slug. So what I deduced is that over, let's just say 40 yards, that little plastic wadding veered about a foot off the trajectory of the slug and smacked my GoPro right in the front of it. And you know, GoPros don't present a whole lot of surface area on the front, so that's a pretty lucky, if you can call it that, shot. It's also pretty impressive that that little piece of plastic, going at somewhere less than 1,300 feet per second, but still quite fast, did that much damage. I mean, again, it's a lightweight little piece of plastic, and it killed my camera. It killed that impact resistant polycarbonate or whatever GoPro housings are made of. And then the GoPro itself, the front was dented in as well. It cracked the LCD. The whole thing was deformed, so I knew right then it was not worth saving, because it wasn't going to happen anyway. Now the cool part of this story is, just kind of on a whim, I decided to take some pictures of it and email them to GoPro's customer support and say, hey, I'm pretty sure this isn't covered under the warranty, but it doesn't hurt to ask. They hit me back up. They said, yeah, it's not covered under the warranty, but we would like to give you a significant discount off the purchase of your next GoPro. And I said, yeah, it's better than nothing, man. And that's how I ended up with this Hero 4 Silver I have now. But that's just the kind of luck I have. I'm not a bad marksman. I'm not an expert marksman, but I can hit a water jug and not hit the little 5 square inch camera a foot to the left of it, you know? So that was a couple years ago. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, I went up to Ypsilanti Bike Night. I took my DSLR with me with a nice fast lens because I wanted to take some night shots of all the bikes. And we ended up getting rained out. There was nobody down there in Depot Town except for our group of riders. So we decided to just go out for a cruise. Ended up making our way towards Detroit. And just riding around downtown Detroit. It's dark by this point. And we come up to a red light. I reach back and check the tail of my bike. My backpack's not there. I keep my backpack strapped to the tail of my bike with a cargo net. And immediately my heart just sank. Like, I had my SLR in there. I had a decent lens in there. I had some of my medical stuff that I kind of need to live. So that's important too. And I tell the guys we're connected on the scene, I'm like, dude, I lost my backpack. And so I'm sitting there trying to think the last time I had it, and I was pretty sure I had it a couple miles back the road. So we all whip a Yui, and we're riding slow. We're looking at all the lanes of the road we just came down. I think there were 3 lanes. And then all of a sudden I think Brad sees it, and he's like, there it is. It's just laying in the middle of the lane, and it doesn't look like it's been smashed or torn to pieces or anything. So he rides over and scoops it up. I don't think he even stopped his bike. He scoops it up, and we pull into a parking lot. And I'm like, I didn't even want to open it up and see the damage because you can't change it, you know. And so I just threw it on my back. I obviously didn't put it back on the tail of my bike. And we went to some baseball field. I don't sports. And so I pulled it apart, and yeah, the lens was definitely broken, and the LCD on the camera was cracked. Not a huge deal, but the big thing is that the mirror in it wouldn't move. So I still don't know if it's salvageable. I'm gonna try to figure that out soon, but I just don't want to deal with it because it sucks. But what happened was, and this is all entirely my fault, like I said, had my backpack strapped to the tail of my bike with a cargo net. And I know that when there's not a whole lot of tension on that cargo net, the hooks like to come off of my passenger grab bar. And that's the entire reason I reached back to check on it, is because I've had it happen before where like one of the hooks have come loose. Well, also that night it had cooled off from the rain, and so I took the hoodie out of my backpack and put it on. That hoodie had previously been enough to keep tension on those elastic bands. Once I took the hoodie out, between the bumpy roads we were taking, how we were riding, and not having a whole lot in there, that's a dead goose. It fell right off, and I'm just glad I noticed it soon enough. And I'm glad a car didn't hit it, because I mean, yeah, it's still clapped, but it could have been a lot worse. Like I said, I had my medical stuff in there. That was all fine, thankfully. So if you take away anything from this boring ass story time, know that don't shoot at your cameras, and make sure stuff is secured when you're strapping it to your bike. I got all that stuff back there now, and I've definitely changed up how I have the cargo net, so it is solid. That's not going anywhere. I don't know. That's it. Hope you can learn something from my dumbass misfortune, or at least have a laugh about it. Catch you guys next time.
I'm a carrot!